what's up? Give this a few minutes to see if anybody pops in here. I said I was going to try to do a live chat after the event, so here we are, guys. We're gonna do this live chat. I don't know how long we're gonna go. We'll see. We'll see if any of you pop in. I don't know. My channel's still pretty small, and I know Josh Thompson and Guru, and I think a few others are doing some live chats right now. So I don't know if anybody's gonna pop in, but if they do, we'll chat it up, chop it up. You guys can ask me anything about the event. We'll be talking the event. That was a good card, man. That was fun, and it went pretty much like I said, man. DDP. Sorry, I'm fucking old. I gotta put these on. DDP is the king of Africa. Yeah, yes, he is. He's got to take on Big Francis though. That's the last mountain he has to climb. But I think DDP's big enough; he could probably do it. Yeah, that was a good card though. Made me some money. Like I said, I was telling you guys in the breakdown I done yesterday that I didn't see a path to victory for Kamaru. I like Kamaru. He's good, and man, he is such a gamer. That guy is tough as old shoe leather. He hung in there. I mean, he was hurt and wobbled like 48 times in that fight, man. Yeah, the Tommy Gunn fight was awesome. Mystic Ninja 420. Yeah, he reminds me of a young Max Holloway, doesn't he? That's the vibes I was getting from him as he's just pouring that pressure. I mean, he keeps his chin high. He's sloppy. He needs to work on his head movement, but yeah, man, he gives me like major young Max Holloway vibes. That kid's gonna go far, I think, if he can, tighten up a few things. Like I said, he needs to work on a few things. He needs to get that head offline and work on keeping his chin tucked a little bit more. But yeah, he's fun. But yeah, back to that main event though. Yeah, Kamara, man, just got hurt like 48 times and kept pushing. He was a little confused about the results. He didn't think the 50-45 was fair. I could have maybe given him. I think maybe he might have edged out like the third round or something. But yeah, I don't have a problem with 50-45. I mean, it was pretty one-sided, honestly. It was all the wobbling, and I think he probably just doesn't realize because he got hurt so often. He probably doesn't realize how obvious it was. He probably thought, well, I'm selling this, but it was pretty obvious. All the times he was hurt and wobbled, so I think that's what really hurt him in the judge's eyes, anyways. But yeah, that was the best DDP's ever looked too. I want to point out that's the cleanest he's ever looked. He still looks like a baby zebra in there as far as his footwork goes. That guy moves weird, but as far as like calculated and like he said in the his post-fight speech, he said he was working on composure more. Definitely seemed more composing. He seemed like he actually had a plan this time for once. It didn't seem like he was just throwing whatever came to his mind in the moment. It seemed like he was actually trying to set things up and think about them. And I was hoping Usman could do more. Yeah, man, he's just getting older. It is what it is. He's pushing 40 and he's got a lot of damage. He learned to wrestle from the looks of it. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I said I think he's probably been locked away in a basement with his coaches for this past year, just working on that wrestling, defense and getting back up and all that. But on the wrestling, I'd said yesterday that I didn't think Usman's knees was really affecting the way he fights that much. That he seemed to always figure out a way to get past it. This is the first fight that I'm going to say that I see the knees really affecting his fighting style and what he can and can't do anymore. Because they was talking about how well Khamzat was successful on the takedowns because he was shooting double legs and things like that. But they didn't even talk about why Kamaru's not shooting double legs. And it's speculation. Obviously, I'm not in his camp. I don't know, but I suspect that Kamaru can't really shoot double legs anymore. I suspect that his knees just won't let him do it anymore. I don't think he can really just get in there and dive in for him. His knees Looked fine. He just looked slow. That too, man. Like he is definitely a lot slower, but I'm telling you, I don't think he can drive for the takedowns like he used to be able to. And I mean, like he was catching those knees to the face, and it's because he's not shooting in properly on his takedowns. He's bending at the waist. He kept bending at the waist to try to grab a leg rather than actually shoot in proper. I just don't think his knees can do it anymore. He went for takedowns and eight knees. Yeah, exactly. Like I was just saying, he's shooting them wrong. He's bending down at the waist, and that's why he was eating the knees. He just can't shoot anymore. But I don't know that it would have really made a difference, even if he had fought a DDP like 5 years ago and could, shoot in a little better. Because I still think it was going to be an uphill battle for him to get DDP down. Um, Is that how he's always shot? I'd have to go back and watch some of his fights. It's been a while since I've watched him fight, so that's entirely possible. That's not how you're supposed to shoot, though, if that's how he's always shot. Connected to Sauce. He got battered so hard that he thought he won. Yeah. Hey, man, he took a lot of damage. Yeah, he was a little confused in there. I said earlier, I think he probably thought that he sold those moments that he was hurt a little better than he did. It can be kind of tough when you're in there. You think one thing is going on, or you're projecting one thing, and it can be completely different. So he probably thought that he was kind of selling it, and he wasn't. We all seen him get hurt and wobbled like 48 times. So it is what it is. Long live Mech Warrior. McGraper purposely injured himself. No, I don't think he purposely injured himself. My theory in the video is that the whole thing was just faked. Nobody's gonna like purposely injure themselves. Um, but yeah, I just think the whole thing was fake. Mystical Ninja 420. Jesus was the only thing holding him up. You talking about Kamaru? Jesus was the only thing holding Kamaru up. Maybe. He's tough, man. I was surprised just by how tough he was. It was getting a little dicey there. It was a little dicey there in the beginning because I placed my bets I done a same game parlay for DDP to win and for it to go over 2.5 rounds because that made picking DDP plus money. That gave me plus 100 on DraftKings. And man, it was dicey there in the beginning because he was just getting hurt and wobbled so often. I was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to hit this bet. I had DDP right, but I don't know if Kamaru's going to last 2.5. But he lasted the whole thing, man. He's tough. But yeah, good fight. Good fight. I liked it. I think Kamaru should probably hang it up. He could definitely beat some of the lower tier middleweights, but man, he's got nothing else to prove. I hope when he watches the fight back and realizes how one-sided it was, he just hangs him up. He doesn't need to do this anymore, really. I don't bet the sport is 250-50. Yeah, fair enough. That's why I said in that breakdown video I was telling you guys is like, I bet for the fun of it. Don't try to follow my advice to make money because I don't. Like I win one night and then I lose the next weekend because I really just do it for the fun of it. I thought he took off the gloves. He did take off the gloves, but when DC interviewed him, he was just pissed off and saying he thought he won and, he was going to go and reassess and talk to the team and figure out what's next. And he was saying, well, obviously I still have it. And so, yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I hope he goes back and they talk over it and he talks to his family. And there's no need to take any more damage. He's had a great career. It's time to wrap it up. If he wants, to get like a specific retirement fight, that'd be cool. But I think the run is done. That retirement in MMA. Wait a minute. Are you asking if that is the sign for retirement in MMA, taking your gloves off? But about his coaches, though, something I want to shout out his coaches for. So many times we watch these fights where these guys have like pretty much lost every round or close to every round, and we're getting into the last round, and a person needs a finish. And you hear the coaches, sometimes they'll lie to them and say that oh no, we're up or you're doing fine, and they're not honest with them. And then even when they are honest and say we need to finish, they're not necessarily giving them the how. And I thought Kamaru's coach has done a really good job. Trevor Whitman and Henry Hooft done a really good job because they each gave him like one kill shot technique, told him what to look for to try to land it, and sent him on his way. They gave him the best shot that they could. And I thought that was really good coaching on their part. Um, yeah. I know it's the sign of retirement. I'm just saying, but he didn't lay him down. So, I mean, a lot of times you'll see the guys, they want to get out of the gloves as quick as they can. Your hands start to swell up in the fight, and it hurts. And so a lot of guys get the gloves off as fast as they can, but it's really only a sign when they like lay him down. And then again, like I said, he talked to DC after and didn't say anything about it. So if he wouldn't have faked the eye poke, it would have been over. Yeah, yeah, it was looking pretty bad for him. I don't want to say for sure it would have been over because he got rocked several times before and after that and found a way to survive without the eye poke thing. But yeah, that one was really bad. He was hurt really bad on that one, so he definitely might not have survived that one without that. Now, I wouldn't necessarily kill the guy and say that was definitely faking it, because on the replay it did look to me like that thumb kind of a little bit grazed the eye. I mean, Drick has done nothing wrong. He definitely had a closed fist, but it definitely looked like the thumb just kind of grazed into the eye a little bit. And I think Kamaru probably thought that it was an eye poke. I don't think he was faking. I think he thought he got poked in the eye, but no, that was a clean punch. But anyways, overall good fight. It's the best Drickus has ever looked, and yeah, I enjoyed it. How's my audio, by the way, guys? This is my first live chat, so it's one thing when I make a video and I can listen back to it and kind of make sure the audio's sounding fine and there's no echoes or anything. But yeah, just let me know if it's how the audio is, since this is my first time. Usman has a history of that. It's all good, cool, awesome, thank you. He has a history of faking like eye pokes. Good, awesome, connect sauce. Appreciate you. What other fight did he fake? I'm trying to think. What other fight did he fake something in? Let me know, and I'll go back and watch. Because yeah, I'm curious what other fight he played that. Which, maybe it was. Sometimes the veterans they do definitely do that. I remember even the very first MMA coach I ever had, he literally would teach us. He's like, if you get in too much trouble in there, you're getting like really hurt, or you're just like really tired, need a break, just kick the other guy in the nuts. I mean, he's like, you'll get at least one. You'll get at least one where it's just a warning or something. As long as you you can't just all out and run and soccer kick them, and make it obvious. But he's like, yeah, just a sneaky little cup check to get you out of some trouble if you need. And that's a lot of veteran coaches and fighters and stuff. That really is a strategy, just kind of gaming the system a little bit. And as we've seen lately, if you got Herb Dean as a ref, you just get away. You don't just get one, you get 4, 5, 6, and 7. So you can just kind of do what you want if you got old Herb in there. But I think against Hamzat, and I know against Colby. Okay, I'll go back and watch those. Do you remember what he did against Hamzat? Really, all I remember about the Hamzat one is Hamzat just dominating him in round 1. But I remember Usman kind of coming back. But yeah, I need to go rewatch some of those. But anyways, yeah, good fight. Moving on, man. I was wrong about the Cannonier one. I was hoping Cannonier could pull it off. But I said it was risky because you never know when the floor is going to fall out on a guy that's getting older like that. But yeah, so that was one. Like I said, I definitely don't win money all the time because I bet on Cannonier as well, and that one was definitely off. But it was still a good fight. I think especially for his age, Cannonier done pretty good. Connected to Sauce. I've done it accidentally in sparring too many times. Yeah. I hate wearing a cup in sparring, so yeah, I'll get checked occasionally in sparring, and it sucks because I don't like wearing the cup in sparring. It's uncomfortable. But what can you do? It is what it is. But yeah, Cannonier looked good. CLD looked good. His takedown defense was okay. He got back up. I think he needs to knock off some of the wild spinny shit. It's better just to stick with the basics. He probably could have got Cannonier out of there if he would have just stuck with the basics and stopped trying to be so flashy and exciting. But there is a point to that it's exciting. So, but yeah, it's possible that Cannonier could have found a way to win that one if it was 5 rounds. That's what Cannonier is good at. He's another guy that's just super tough and hangs in there. And I think CLD was definitely slowing down. Southpaw, and it happens. Yes, it does. I switch a lot, and so it can happen on the switch pretty often as well. Duncan looked okay, but it was an okay fight. Yeah, I mean, it definitely wasn't a barn burner. I thought the crowd was a little too harsh tonight with some of the booing, but also some of it was fair. And that brings me to another kind of question, I guess you would say, more than anything, because there was a lot of new UFC talent on the card tonight. And I mean, is it just me or you? I don't know if you guys remember a while back, they had been like letting wrestlers go, even wrestlers with winning streaks. They was kind of letting them go. And the word around the sport was kind of that they was just looking for exciting people again and just trying to get, more excitement in. And so they was trying to let go of the wrestlers. But man, it seems like pretty much all these new people they brought in that were fighting tonight were pretty much all just wrestlers and didn't really want to divert too terribly much from that. A lot of the prelim guys were wrestlers. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go on that. I just don't think UFC really builds stars like they used to anymore either, which is a shame for the next generation coming up. The booing was all for, was it all for Herb? Okay. I didn't even consider that. That's fair enough. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I wasn't paying too much attention to exactly which fights he was the one reffing, but yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, he's been getting killed lately, but for a reason. He needs to kind of step it up. He's been making a lot of mistakes lately. But anyways, yeah, not much more we can say on the Cannonier and CLD fight. I think who do we want to see CLD against next? I guess is something we could talk about. Yeah, the lay and pray style has seemed to win away. It has a lot, and judges seem to have stopped rewarding people as much for it too, which is good because it's not technically by the judging criteria. It's not supposed to matter. It's just a change of position. So according to the judging criteria, if I take you down and I don't do anything with it, I don't land one single punch, that's not even technically supposed to count for anything because it's just a change of position. So that's that the updated judging rules is supposed to be that. Now they don't look at it that way. Obviously, if we have a round and a guy is taking you down and he holds you down the whole round, even if he doesn't land anything, if you also don't land anything, they're obviously going to give the guy who's holding the other guy down the round. But yeah, it's supposed to count for a lot less now than it used to. Back in the day, it was, you just lay and pray your way to victory all the time. It was killing the sport. Yeah, it was making, I'm not one of the people that just hates all the wrestling. It is mixed martial arts and I don't mind, but yeah, the lay and pray was terrible. I've never liked the lay and pray. Like, I'll get excited if there's, some good scrambles going on or, some good jujitsu and, positional changes. But yeah, when we was in that era where people were literally just holding a guy down or holding against the fence was one of the worst, man. That would drive me crazy when we went through like 3 years solid where everybody's strategy was just hold them against the fence, do the little knees to the back of their thigh, keep the hands locked. Oh man, it was terrible. It was so boring. Your pronunciation of Irish names is a new language. Thank you. I'll get it trademarked. Man, yeah. I'm of Irish ancestry, so I'm pretty sure they'd probably all be ashamed of me. But my bad. I'm learning. I've learned that it's Aoife and it's Whelan and it's not Nas Road, it's Nace Road. You guys have given me pointers, so I'm trying to figure it out. Uh, yeah. Somebody pointed out that Nas is Nace. So yeah, I'm trying to on this Fertitta one. I'm trying to make sure to do a little more looking into the names I got to say to try to make sure the names and the places, make sure I get them right. I should have probably looked into that before this one, but it is what it is. I appreciate you guys keeping me honest and pointing it out. But anyways, yeah. Okay, yeah. Back to the fights, CLD. Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. And Mystic Ninja, yes, it was a good card. I enjoyed the card. CLD, I think maybe like Brendan Allen or something probably be good for CLD next. Get him kind of up there. Get him kind of up there in the rankings a little bit. Moving on to Tommy Gunn. Was that? Oh, I guess we had the Tabitha Ricci and Fatima Klein fight. It was actually before that. Um, yeah, Fatima looked good. It was about what you would expect out of that kind of fight. You know, uh, Man, where does Tabitha go for here from here? Is she just kind of PFL bound or just way down in the rankings? I don't know. She kind of got manhandled a little bit by Fatima, and I don't really know much about Fatima. She just kind of burst onto the scene, it seems like. But yeah, good fight. She's probably going to beat a lot of people in the division. She seems pretty good, pretty exciting. Um, yeah, it is what it is. Moving on. Tommy Gunn, yeah, like I said earlier, he reminds me of a young Max Holloway with all that volume and pressure, and yeah, he's fun. What do we want to see from him next? That he's not in the rankings or anything, but at featherweight, what do the rankings look like at featherweight? When should we get him into the rankings? I don't think he's ready yet, but we want to give him some people that can give him some fun fights. That was a good matchup he had tonight because that was a really fun fight to watch. That guy really brought it. There was talking on the broadcast like they had some sort of like Instagram agreement or something that the first one to shoot is a bitch or something like that. And hey, props to the dude that was getting his ass whooped because he did not shoot, so he ain't no bitch. Um, I don't like women's MMA. They should have their own league so no one has to watch it. Well, no, that's fair. That's your opinion. I disagree personally. I don't mind women's MMA. Now, do I find it as exciting as a lot of the men's stuff? No, not really. I find a lot harder time being interested in it. But there's some good fights. There's some interesting ones. On occasion. Ioana Young Jacek had a lot of good ones back in her day, and her fight with who was it? Wei Li Zhang, where she got the big alien egg. That was a good fight. That was a good, fun, exciting fight for the whole 5 rounds. So they're not all bad. I know it's mean, but when women's MMA isn't high level, it's getting there, man. They've if you compare it to what it was when they started out to where it is now, it's definitely gotten a lot better. And so they're getting there. And like I said, there's even now there's some that are really high level and really fun to watch. I always enjoyed watching Ioana and Jacek, and Whaley Zay's fun, and Mackenzie Dern is fun at times. So 10 years and what they had 10 great fights. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that's an entirely unfair assessment, but like I said, it is what it is. You get your occasional fun one, and then you know most of them aren't that great, but it is what it is. They deserve to be out there trying to learn and put on a show and make money as much as the rest of them. So I don't have a problem with it. Hooper 43, is it better to eat sushi before or after a fight? Oh boy, that's an interesting question. I don't know that I've eaten sushi before or after a fight. I can tell you that after a heavy weight cut, it is not a good idea to go to a steakhouse and have about 10 beers and a bunch of blooming onions and stuff right after a weigh-in. That's not a smart idea. I can tell you that from experience. But sushi before or after a fight, I don't have an answer for you on that one, my man. I've never done that. Jerry OC, is the world heading for a crisis in personal violence with so much MMA, or will it bring peace? Uh, I don't think MMA has much of an effect on world violence, really. MMA is just a sport and a pastime. I think mental health and the negativity going around is the biggest impact on world violence and all that. I think the fact that, well, even think about internet culture. Think about even in this MMA space that I'm trying to do. Think about all the people who get into this space and they try to just troll and talk shit about everything and everyone and just spread negativity because they know it gets clicks. And I'm not going to judge them or fault them. They're trying to make a living and it does get clicks. But I just think kind of that culture that we're in, that negativity sells so well, and so everybody's just kind of spreading negativity all the time. I think that is a much bigger contributor to world violence than MMA. MMA is just a sport. Mystical Ninja 420, there will never be peace and never has. Yeah, it's kind of out of our human nature, seems like, unfortunately. Jerry OC, over a period of time, near future, you're fucked because you've a mind. What do you mean? Clarify, Jerry. I'm not sure I'm following you on that one. Let me get back to this. I was pulling up the featherweight rankings so we can see where we want Tommy Gunn to go next. So all the way at 15. Oh, is he already ranked? So they have that Jose Miguel Delgado kid that fought tonight. His ranked at 15. He'd probably be a fun fight with Tommy Gunn. That'd probably be a good one. And Tommy, is Jose Miguel Delgado Mexican? Because Tommy was calling out a Mexican. He wanted a Mexican fighter for Noche. I don't know if Delgado is Mexican or not. But if he is, I mean, there you go. They both fought tonight, so they should be on the same timeline. And if he's Mexican, yeah, throw him and Tommy Gunn on Noche. Um, you think I have a broad intelligence and that's going to be a problem for me in the future? Well, I appreciate the kind words. I don't know that my intelligence is broad, but I definitely am an overthinker. That causes some problems. So, um, no, are you saying that we're headed for a world where higher intelligence is directly like attacked? Are you like positing that we're headed towards like a Pol Pot scenario? And like in what country was Pol Pot in charge of, that he was like killing all the intelligent people? Was that? Oh man, guys, I'm drawing a blank on what country that was. It Myanmar? If you guys know, let me know. I'm drawing a blank. Mystical Ninja 420. Who's your top 10 fights of all time? Oh, shoot. That's a tough one. Top 10. Man, I'd have to really. There's been so many good fights. I'd have to really sit down and noodle on that one for a while to come up with a list. So I'm not going to have like I'm probably not going to be able to give you like a comprehensive, list, but I'll throw out a few in no particular order that are some of my favorites. One that always comes to mind if I'm going to like introduce someone to the sport, or even when I'm trying to teach new students like footwork and things like that. I love showing people the Robbie Lawler and God, I'm drawing a blank on his name now too. I'm drawing a blank on everybody right now. Robbie Lawler and the Canadian kid, Rory McDonald. Yeah, I love that fight. That one, that war when Robbie split his lip open, and yeah, that one was an exciting war. And I mean, their footwork was really clean in it, both of them, and that was just a good example of just a back and forth battle, man. That one was super fun. So that one, like I already said, one of my favorite fights was Joanna Jędrzejczyk and Weili Zhang. I thought that one was super fun. Um, some other good ones: Johnny Hendricks and GSP, when Johnny Hendricks absolutely beat GSP but was robbed. That was a really fun fight. Jones Gustafson 1 was super fun. DC Stipe 2 was super, super fun. What are some other really, really good? Oh, Dustin Poirier and Dan Hooker. That one was wild. That was a super good fight. I mean, really, honestly, you could make a whole top 10 list out of just the lightweight division so easy, because, I mean, Charles has had some crazy fights. Dustin has had crazy fights. Justin has had crazy fights. Eddie Alvarez had some crazy fights. Donald Cerrone had crazy fights. I mean, there were so many guys in that 55 division that just had so many good, crazy, all-out wars that, man, there's just so many of them. But yeah, I mean, that's a few. That's a few that popped to mind that would probably be somewhere in my top 10 if I was really sit down and think about it. Jerry OC, no revenue. I'm not sure. Thinking about Cambodia. Yes, Cambodia. Yes, Pol Pot was Cambodia. You're right. But yeah, well, I appreciate the compliments, and yeah, hopefully we're not headed to a world where they start targeting people with intelligence. But to be honest with you, I think we're in the clear on that, because I mean, to be in a society that you'd want to target people with intelligence, you would have to be in a society where there is a high number of people with intelligence for it to really become an issue, because one voice here or there in can get lost in the noise pretty easily. And um man, I'm trying to word this because there's not a great way to word this without making it sound like I'm saying, oh yeah, there's smart people and then there's idiots, and so yeah, they don't. But so, I mean, that's not what I'm trying to say, really. But there is a lot of people that I guess we'll just put it, they're easily manipulated. So that's kind of all governments form of control. They pit people against each other. That's why there's political lines. They just kind of pit everybody against each other, and they create division and divide us, and that makes us easy to control. So they don't really have to worry if there's like a particular voice out there that's saying, hey, this is what they're doing to you, they're tricking you, don't listen to them. They don't have to worry, because that voice is never going to get all that much traction, because I mean, they've been doing this for so long. They're experts at the manipulation. So try to catch up on this chat. Fighters, not fights. Oh, top 10 fighters. Okay. Top 10 fighters. Let's go. Again, I'd have to think about it if I wanted to really put it in an actual order. So this is no particular order, but okay, I'll name 10 of my favorite fighters. Robert Whitaker, Dustin Poirier, Charles Oliveira, Max Holloway. Let me try to not pick everybody in the lightweight division. Alexander Volkanovski. It took him a while, but he grew on me. Piotr Jan. Who else would be some of my favorites? I really like Alexander Gustafsson. His rise. Conor McGregor's in there, but it's pre-rich Conor McGregor. I thoroughly enjoyed him as a fighter and enjoyed his rise up through Cage Warriors and the UFC initially. I really stopped being a fan towards all the yeah, you guys know all the stuff. So That's 8 we got so far. DJ Demetrius Johnson. I always enjoyed watching him. Let's see. Let's try to spread this out. Let's try to find some. Have I named? Is there a weight class? I haven't named anybody in welterweight yet. Robbie Lawler. There we go. Robbie Lawler. Okay. Jerry OC found a YouTube channel, Horses. Very good. Your delivery reminds me of it. I'll have to check it out, Jerry. What do they talk about on horses? What's the channel about? And compliment that your fucking irony. Mystical Ninja AI will take us out. The internet is the book of knowledge from the Bible, I think. Yeah, AI is probably the doom of us all, most likely. But what can you do? I find it crazy that they have projections out there and they say that AI, there's like a 5% chance of AI ending humanity or something like that. Don't completely quote me on that. I have sources, but I know I've read that in several places that that's just kind of like a known statistic that AI is supposedly going to take us out, and if there's a 5% chance. And to me, man, I'm like, 5% is not small, right? Like, am I crazy for thinking that? To me, 5%, that's not like a small chance. So I find that crazy that we haven't done anything about AI or shut it down when you're telling me there's a 5% chance it's the downfall of mankind. Like, 5% is not small, guys. Like, if I was going to do something and you told me, hey, if you do this, there's a 5% chance that you're going to lose your leg or something, I'm not going to fucking do it, because 5% is not a small chance, right? Like, yeah, so that seems, yeah, the AI thing's crazy, man. It's wild. Jerry OC, yeah, Mystical Book of Daniel, the Fourth Empire. Okay, I'm not familiar with it, but I'll look into it. Mad Mazzo, was that old man Connor punched really a father of an Irish mob member? Yes, he was, but I don't know if you watched my follow-up video to that Connor Mafia video, but I made a correction on there. So in that Connor Mafia video, when I was describing the events, I was describing the old man sitting on the bar stool that Connor offered the drink to, and then the guy didn't want it and he smacked. That was the wrong description of events, because that was a different guy that he smacked back in 2019, a fellow named Desmond. And I'm not even going to try to say his last name because you guys will roast me because I'll get it wrong. But yeah, so that video that went around where he offered the old guy the drink in the bar and the guy didn't want it and he smacked him, that was a separate instance that happened in 2019. The one I was referring to where he got in a brawl with Graham Whelan's father was in 2017, and there's no video of that occurrence. So, but yes, he did in fact get in a brawl with Graham's father. Jerry, see everything on horses. I was ironic about your intelligence and fucked. You're not. It was, oh, gotcha. Okay. All right, cool. I'm glad I'm not fucked. All right. Raul Duke 8720, because that's what they want. Duh. I don't know what you're referring to. Jerry OC, I'll have to check the name of Horse's channel. Give me a minute. Okay, cool. Mad Mazza, wild. Good info, dude. Again, hey, I appreciate you, man. Glad you enjoyed the video. Raul Duke 8720, the people who created AI have contingency plans. If it destroys humanity, they'll always be safe. The scale of underground infrastructure they've built over the decades beggars belief. Yeah, man. I've heard, to be honest with you, I haven't looked into that too much. I see the stuff pop up. People talking about the underground bunkers and, supposedly, whole like interconnected cities. Like, I mean, suppose I've seen some wild ones, man. I've seen some, reports and people talking about how there's like connected underground cities across whole countries, like, under, the seabed or something, or, on the seafloor. I suppose it would be something like that connect whole countries. Now, that is so staggering in scale. I'm not sure if I believe that, but some of these theories, when people talk about, well, Denver Airport's, a big one. People talk about Denver Airport a lot and how massive it is and say that there's like a whole city under there. I've been to the Denver Airport, and yeah, it's staggering how huge that place is. So, I could believe it. Yeah, I could buy it. So, and yeah, fair enough. If they really think there's a 5% chance that AI is going to take us out, they've got the money, they've got the resources, they probably would have bunkers and everything. So, um, Mystical Ninja 420. My favorites are Fedor, good one. GSP, good. John Jones, Igor Vachechin, Josh Barnett, BJ Penn. Oh, man, this is a good list, man. Nick Diaz, Tony Ferguson, Sukarno, Suka. Yeah, is that Sukarno? Yeah, Sukarno. I'm not sure I'm familiar with that one. You're not talking Sakuraba, are you? And Rampage. That's a good list, though, man. I'm not familiar with the Sukarno one. If you're not referring to Sakuraba, but that's a good list. Oh man, geez, we've already been on for 40 minutes. Yeah, Sakuraba. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a good list, man. You're an OG fan. That's an OG list. I like that one. Yeah, I was trying to give a little bit more, new list, but yeah, that's an OG list, man. I like that. Um, Kudos high. I don't know what you mean. But yeah, I like that list, man. BJ Penn, that's a good shout, man. That's why I want to see someone like Kamaru and stuff. These guys that have done so much, I want to just see them retire because like you got guys like BJ Penn and Tony Ferguson that, man, they were so good and so fun to watch in their prime, and then they just they don't have it anymore and they keep going and losing and doing all this damage. And then, all the struggles that BJ's going through, man, if you hear the reports of all the stuff that he's going through, I don't think it's all like CTE related. I think, I've heard rumors about like drugs with BJ and stuff, but yeah, man, it's a shame. I hate to judge fighter till it's over. Yeah, I hear you, man. Yeah. Well, and I don't think if they have a bunch of losses that pile up at the end, I don't think it's necessarily fair to judge them on that either. Because, I mean, you got to judge them based off of who they were at their peak as well. So, yeah. Hey, I appreciate you guys jumping into the chat with me. I think we're going to try to get this wrapped up. I'm pretty tired. We've been going for about 42 minutes. It's been a fun chat. I'm glad you guys jumped on and joined me. It was good to get to talk to some of you guys live. We'll give it a couple more minutes before I jump off. If you guys have any more questions, I'm not hard on losses. Yeah, man, they happen. It is what it is. Oh, Jerry OC horses on YouTube. Okay, I'll check that out, Jerry. Cool. I appreciate the rec. Let's see, who do we have coming up next weekend? Night, homie. Sorry, I'm the only one chatting. No, it's all good, man. Well, there's been a few people in here chatting. It's not a very populated chat, I'm competing with. I know Guru's on right now. I know Josh Thompson's on right now. A few other guys, and I'm still a small channel. We'll get there, man. You guys are the OGs, though. You're in here with me, the OGs. You found me first, so when this thing blows up and we have a huge community, you guys are always going to be my homies. You're going to be the first ones. Jerry OC, enjoyed the chat. Take a break. I'm going 5:20. All right. Appreciate you, Jerry. Mystic Ninja 420. They're overrated. Well, I appreciate that. They definitely have a different style to me, that's for sure. I like Josh. He seems like a decent fella. He's got that punk persona going, but then also he does try to make a point that he wants to help like other channels and former fighters and stuff like that. So that's cool. Jerry OC, God bless. Yes, God bless you, Jerry OC. I appreciate you, brother. All right, guys. I appreciate you. Like I said, we're OG fam in here. You guys I've been rocking with me from the start, so I appreciate you. I'm gonna end this chat. And yeah, this was fun. I'll try to do these probably after every event. We'll give those other guys some competition yet, right? And so all right, guys, take care.